do I? 14 meters. Call the police on my mum's hit and run. I'm on team tell your dad. This is too big for a 14-year-old to deal with. And you need support around this that your mom is incapable of providing. Your dad needs to know all of this, including how you feel, and your mom is wrong to tell you not to seek his help. Agreed. Provided he can fully trust his dad. I came here to say the same thing. Is your dad someone you trust? Will telling him put you in an unsafe environment at all? If that's the case, do you have another adult in your family etc you can trust, talk to, like an aunt or an advisor at school? Find an adult you trust. Stop. Not necessarily your dad. If your mom is arrested, it's not your fault. It's her fault. You tried to tell her. She knew better. She was terrible. Tell your dad. Ask for his help. Yeah, she wouldn't have been arrested at all if she just stopped. Unless, of course, she was drinking or was driving erratically. Yeah, this is true. Or if she killed him, I guess. Talk to an adult you trust like a school counselor and they can report it on your behalf. Agreed. I would say the father or counselor. I have split custody of my daughter, and if my daughter told me this, I'd take care of it for her. Why did she not stop? That's the weird part to me. Turned a misdemeanor into a possible felony. There is more going on here with the mom, I think, that op may not know about. Maybe try it this way. Go to the police, call them, tell them what happened, and ask them to say that it was an anonymous call. The person won't be exposed. Imagine yourself in the injured kid's situation. What if something worse had happened? If his injuries were so severe that he could have died? You would have wanted/needed help. And someone running away from the situation and letting the person to death is not acceptable. This is a very dangerous game she is playing. What if it happens again, but more severe? Could you deal with the thought that she has not helped someone who could have survived? You are not at fault. You won't be if you call the police. But you will be if you don't. This anonymous report would be amazing. That way you don't have to worry about your mother's backlash that she may bring onto you, since she told you to not tell anyone in the first place, and you'd be doing the right thing. It would be worth a try. But what if there's no evidence on her car and they can't prove it was really her? It sounds as if Op is in a shitty situation with his mom. Quite apart from this incident. It's hard to give advice without knowing the whole family dynamic, but I know that for my own peace of mind, I would report it. Maybe this will resolve into Op moving in with his dad, and that might be an altogether better solution for him. For sure, in a shitty situation, especially at 14 years old, the best advice anyone could ever be to a kid is this: adults that ask kids to keep secrets aren't safe. This is usually aimed at younger kids, but it absolutely still applies at 14, especially when Op mentioned there's lots of secrets kept from dad. Your mother turned an accident into a crime. That the kid is in the hospital shows the damage she has done. Her insurance would have covered the medical bills. But now the victim's family might be bankrupt if they don't have decent insurance of their own. It was selfish of her to expect you to just act like her crime was nothing important. She has no integrity. You obviously do. Tell your father. And ask him what you should do. You're too young to be shouldering this kind of secret on your own. He's in UK. His medical bills will be non-existent. God bless the NHS. You need to do the right thing. Your mum broke the law and this kid could have died. Exactly. I know it's your mom and you feel bad about calling someone. But she did something really bad. Think about it. What if this had happened to you? What if someone hit you with their car, hit you so badly that you ended up in the hospital and left you there? Think about it. What if this had happened to you? What if someone hit you with their car, hit you so badly that you ended up in the hospital and left you there? Would them being arrested be a significant improvement to my current situation? Cause I don't see how it would benefit my life. I imagine the damage that would occur for a 14-year-old kid to have his mum arrested would be significantly more impactful. The time to do the right thing has already passed. At this point it would be punishment for the sake of punishment. I see what you're saying. But what about that poor kid's hospital bills? We don't know whether his family has insurance and or is able to cover the costs for which they are responsible. The crime didn't end when Op's mom drove away. She and her insurance had financial liability here. And the victim and his family could end up really suffering if Op's mom isn't forced to step up and take responsibility. The use of mum and the kid being in another year at school suggests Op is in the UK, in which case the injured kid has no hospital bills. But the mother still needs to be reported. I'm also highly concerned that Op says their mother makes them keep lots of secrets from their dad. There's something wrong with this woman. Good catch. You may well be right about that. It's true that reporting his mom may bring some really tough consequences to Opus. His mom may, unfairly, blame him. He may have to move in with his dad and switch schools, etc. Even his classmates may, again, totally unfairly, blame him. But I can't imagine growing into an adult with such an awful burden. I think for his own sake, he needs to report it. You are completely right about the awful burden. I witnessed a hit and run when I was maybe 8, 9, but was no way involved. Even as an adult every now and then I get the picture of the injured woman pop up in my head and hear her scream. It freaks me out 20 years later. Now imagine that. But also knowing the perpetrator was your mother and B, she absolutely gave no fucks that she left someone to potentially die. I'm sure the police are having neighbors/businesses check their cameras for your mom's car/plates. You might want to let your mom or dad know to turn herself in now. With technology today they will find her. Yeah, exactly. Someone has to have seen what happened, and sooner or later the truth will come out. Mom's already screwed herself over, but Op can still save some respect in the eyes of his peers if he calls the police about what happened. And honestly, even if the police never found out, sure, mom escapes jail time, but it's in exchange for a life sentence of guilt and paranoia that someone will find out eventually. Doing the right thing would be reporting the accident. Your mom absolutely did something wrong, so in a way she's right. You call the police when someone does something wrong, she's just in denial that she did. I would absolutely tell your dad. He likely will phone the police, but even if she got arrested it is in no way your fault. Leaving the scene of an accident is much worse than calling immediately, and that's on her. Also, your mom sounds toxic as hell. You have to tell an adult about this. Not necessarily your dad. Although it could be him, if you think he is a reasonable kind of person. Otherwise I would suggest a counselor at school. They can help you navigate all this. This is way too much to handle for a 14Y/0, heck. I'm 33 and I would probably be as helpless as you are in the same situation. Tell your dad. This is way too much for you to be dealing with. And completely wrong of your mother for many reasons. But your father is there. Talk to him. Tell him how you feel about everything. And hopefully he can fix things for you. He might be able to figure out a solution that works for everyone. One thing to point out here. Although self-righteous people here are saying what if it was you and do the right thing. While this is nice and all morally, when you are not in the situation, it's way different when you are in. That may be morally the right thing to do, but you will have to think about the real world. What will happen if you report it? You will face some very real consequences as an aftermath. Are you ready to blow up your life to do what's morally right? That's way too much to ask from a teenager emo. Also, I can guarantee you that in your spot, 95% of the people that commented here would have a completely different stance. I wonder what happens to Op if his mom goes to jail. Does he become a ward of the state, or? He would probably go live with his dad. His parents are divorced, but dad is around. If his dad agrees to take him in, then I'd snitch. But it's a dangerous game Op is playing. What feeling towards your mum do you have since this event? Also, that last line, what other things does your mum ask to keep secret from your dad? Yeah, those other secrets are what I want to know about. I feel like there's a lot more going on here than is written. I'm wondering if she could have been drunk when this happened, hence the running away.